Oh, Channel 4. What you give with one hand, you take away with another. For every good game-changing comedy you make, you let your weird cousin out of the cellar and give him a go on the typewriter. We're still paying the price for an early 2000s boom of absolute corkers, and it's about time you reminded us that you used to be good at TV programs. My only problem with the first two series of Catastrophe is the thought of what the price for this show is going to be. Maybe you'll sexually assault Graham Linehan or punch my mum. Rob Delaney and Sharon Horgan meet each other and have a series of one-night stands, and as the description of the first episode says, they encounter some thorny issues. But thorny isn't really the right word. They're thorny in the same way Hitler was intolerant. I mean, pregnancy and cancer scares aren't exactly happy fun times. This show does not pull any punches. It is aggressive and at times shocking, but it is funny, very funny. It's nice to have a show like this to remind us about Channel 4's sense of humour. It has been a long time since that's been used. I'm reminded of a show that came out a few years ago where Channel 4 decided to suck itself off and realised that it perhaps wasn't quite as big as it was telling everyone. What I mean by that is Channel 4's 30 greatest comedy shows, one for every year the channel was knocking around for. Whoever compiled this list certainly needed the Wikipedia page open, because while the top 10 contain a lot of good comedies, the later ones plunge into obscurity, and some are obvious placeholders for when they realised they didn't make 30 great comedies. This show would easily break the top 10. Possible spoiler alert, I'm going to talk about the second series, and if you haven't seen the first one, hurry up and do that. The second series continues to kick them about, even though they seem to have constructed a happy family life with their two kids. Numerous life-changing catastrophes occur, none of them quite as bad as in the first episode, but still bad, and the show is still very funny. I'm actually very pleased to see that the series ends in a similar way to the first, implying a future return for the show. When I watched this program, the format greatly reminded me of an American sitcom from a few years ago called Accidentally on Purpose. Don't bother tracking it down, it wasn't very good. But the parallels are certainly obvious. One night stand leads to pregnancy, couple decides to stay together, Ashley Jensen plays a friend of the female lead. It's almost as though someone took that show and turned it into a comedy. My point is that although the premise of this show is clearly not unique, it doesn't have to be. A comedy show can be about anything as long as it's funny, and bloody hell fire is this show funny. It's only a shame that for every great Channel 4 comedy we have to put up with dozens of E4 turds, but at least there are still some Channel 4 executives that still remember what laughter is.